The Butterfly Lion by Michael Morpurgo. Michael Morpurgo was born in 1943. He is a famous English author. He writes novels, poems and plays for the theatre and is best known for his children's stories. His novels frequently combine the topics of friendship and nature. Animals are very important in his writing. His main characters often have special relationships with them. Today you are going to read a passage from Michael Morpurgo's novel, The Butterfly Lion. The main character in this novel is a boy called Bertie. At this point in the novel, Bertie is about 6 years old and he is in Africa with his mother and father. So let's begin the chapter. The Butterfly Lion. There was a waterhole downhill from the farmhouse and some distance away. That waterhole, when there was water in it, became Bertie's whole world. He would spend hours in the dusty compound, his hands gripping the fence, looking out at the wonders of the world. At the giraffes drinking, spread-legged, at the waterhole, at the browsing impala, tails twitching alert, at the warthogs snorting and snuffling under the shade of the shingai trees, at the baboons, the zebras, the wild beasts, and the elephants bathing in the mud. So here, when Bertie was living in Africa, he used to watch the veld. Means there was a forest nearby. So from his house he could see below a veld where many animals came to drink water in the waterhole. He could see the giraffe drinking water by spreading its legs. He could also see the impala. Impala is a deer drinking water, twitching its tail alert, and the warthogs also making some sound while drinking the water or taking the shade of the shingai trees, and the baboons, these are monkeys, zebras, and the wild beasts, and the elephants bathing in the mud. Next paragraph. But the moment Bertie always longed for was when a pride of lions came padding out of the veld. The impala were the first to spring away. Then the zebra would panic and gallop off. Within seconds, the lions would have the waterhole to themselves and they would crouch to drink. So Bertie could see many animals, but what he loved was the pride of lions that came to the well for drinking water. The moment when the pride of lions arrived, the impala deer were the first to spring away. Means run away out because of the fear of these lions. Then the zebra would become panic and would run away, and afterwards the lions would have the waterhole themselves. They would be freely moving around the waterhole and having their drink. From the safe haven of the compound, Bertie looked and learnt as he grew up. By now he could climb the tree by the farmhouse and sit high in its branches. He could see better from up there. He would wait for his lions and hours on end. He got to know the life of the waterhole so well that he could feel the lions were out there even before he saw them. Now Bertie is able to climb a tree. He has grown up, and from the tree branch he is able to watch the veld or see the animals that come to drink water. He got to know the life of the waterhole well that he could feel even the lions coming out there without even seeing. He knew that at what time they would be coming there to drink water. Their presence he could make out. Bertie had no friends to play with, but he always said he was never lonely as a child. At night he loved reading his books and losing himself in the stories. So he had no friends to play with. So how did he pass his time? During the daytime, he used to watch the animals that come to drink water. But at night, he used to spend his time in reading storybooks. His heart was out in the world with animals. That was where he yearned to be. Whenever his mother was well enough, he would beg her to take him outside the compound. But her answer was always the same. I can't, Bertie. Your father has forbidden it, she would say, and that was that. So he loved to see the animals coming to drink water or watching the animals. So one day he asked his mother to take him out of the compound. But his mother always used to refuse him, telling that his father had forbidden him or forbidden them to go out of the compound. The men would come home with their stories of the world, of the family of cheetahs sitting like sentinels on their couch, of the leopard they had spotted high in his tree larder, watching over his kill, of the hyenas they had driven off, of the herd of elephants which had stampeded a cattle. And Bertie would listen wide-eyed agog. Again and again he asked his father if he could go with him to help guard the cattle. His father just laughed, patted his head and said it was man's work. He did teach Bertie how to ride and how to shoot too, but always within the confines of the compound. So this para says that whenever the elders came home after taking the cattle out for grazing, they used to narrate the stories of what they have seen in the forest, like seeing the leopard or the elephants or the hyenas, no? And Bertie used to listen to these stories with lot of interest, and he used to get excited. And again he used to beg his father to take him along with him to guard the cattle. But his father used to refuse. He would say that this was a man's work, the elder's work or adult's work. But he also taught him how to ride on a horse or animal, and also how to shoot. But it was all done within the confines of the compound. Week in, week out, Bertie had to stay behind his fence. He made up his mind, though, that if no one would take him out into the world, then one day he would go by himself. But something always held him back. Perhaps it was one of those tales he had been told of black mamba, snakes whose bite would kill you within 10 minutes, of hyenas whose jaws would crunch you to bits, of vultures who would finish off everything that was left so that no one would ever find even the bits. For the time being, he stayed behind the fence. But the more he grew up, the more his compound became a prison to him. Now, he was watching the animals continuously, and a tiny wish grew in his mind, that was to go he wanted to go out of the compound. But something always held him back. Maybe the stories that he heard from the elders about the black mamba snakes whose bite would kill you within 10 minutes, or of those hyenas whose jaws would crunch anything that get into bits, they will crush and finish, or of vultures who would finish off everything that was left. So by hearing or remembering these things, he would get scared, and then for time being he would stay behind the fence, means inside the compound. But the more he became big, the more his compound became a prison to him. He got bored inside his compound. One evening, Bertie must have been about 6 years old now. He was sitting high up in the branches of his tree, hoping against hope the lions might come down for their sunset drink, as they often did. He was thinking of giving up, for it would soon be too dark to see much now, when he saw a solitary lioness come down to the waterhole. Then he saw that she was not alone. Behind her, and on unsteady legs, came what looked like a lion cub but it was white, glowing white in the gathering gloom of dusk. While the lioness drank, the cub played at catching her tail, and then, when she had had her fill, the two of them slipped away into the long grass and were gone. So this para says that one evening, when Bertie was sitting on the branches of a tree, waiting for some lions to come to drink near the waterhole, he saw a lioness coming down to the waterhole, and the lioness was followed by a cub. It was very white, glowing white in the gathering gloom of dusk. Means in the evening it was looking dazzling white or glowing white. When the lioness drank, the cub played at catching her tail, and when she finished drinking, the two of them slipped away into the long grass and were lost in the jungle. Bertie ran inside, screaming with excitement. He had to tell anyone. He found his father working at his desk. "Impossible," said his father. "You are seeing things that aren't there, or you are telling fibs. One of the two." Now Bertie was very much excited to see this white lion cub he had not seen before. So he wanted to tell someone that what he had seen there. But his father was not willing to listen to him. He told that Bertie was telling things that was impossible, that can never happen. He thought that Bertie was actually making up stories and telling. "I saw him, I promise," Bertie insisted. But his father would have none of it and sent him to his room for arguing. So although he was insisting that he had seen it, even he had made promise, but his father was not willing to believe and sent him back to his room. His mother came to see him later. "Anyone can make a mistake, Bertie dear," she said. "It must have been the sunset. It plays tricks with your eyes sometimes. There is no such thing as a white lion." So even the mother was actually convincing him that what he saw was not the white lion cub. It was only the only the feelings, so to say. No, in the evening he felt that it was white because of the sunlight. So in this way she was consoling him. So she also said that there was nothing as white lion. The next evening, Bertie watched again at the fence, but the white lion cub and the lioness did not come. Nor did they the next evening, nor the next. Bertie began to think he must have been dreaming it. So the next day and the following days continuously he sat there to watch the lion and the lioness and the cub coming down to drink water, but they never came. So he is now slowly trying to believe that what he saw was only a dream, it was not real. A week or more passed, and there had been only a few zebras and wild beasts down at the waterhole. Bertie was already upstairs in his bed when he heard his father riding into the compound, and then the stamp of his heavy boots on the veranda. We got her, he was saying. Huge lioness, massive she was. She has taken half a dozen of my best cattle in the last 2 weeks. Well, she won't be taking any more. Bertie's heart stopped. In that one terrible moment, he knew which lioness his father was talking about. There could be no doubt about it. His white lion cub had been orphaned. So Bertie was continuously sitting on the branches and waiting for the lioness and the cub to come, but they never came. So one day he heard his father shouting and coming, telling her that he was managed to kill a lioness. It was very huge, no, and she had taken or she had eaten so many of his cattle. So he was actually happy that for killing the lioness, because the lioness won't be eating anymore his cattle. But Bertie was sad to hear that, because he knew the lioness was the particular one that he had seen, the one which had come down to drink water along with her white lion cub. And he is sorry, because he knows that the little white lion cub will be orphaned as because his mother died. This is a beautiful story written by Michael Morpurgo.